Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so today I think I don't remember what day it is that we did like I wrote the word down and tried to show it to you, even though everything's backwards. So the evil word. So all the lovely little connotations that go with that, right? So when we are thinking about prey and predator, there's that prey with the phrase deliver us from. Yep. So that does not feel well in the system. So when we think about the word deliver, it's coming from someplace. Like you get a package delivered. A pregnant woman goes into a hospital to deliver. There's a birthing place in order to have delivery. So, put whatever frontal cortex spin you want on that, but the natural connotation, the natural meaning of the word, the inception of this process was very specific, very detailed, very goal orientated. It really was. And this is how they want you to perceive things, is that you're tricking yourself, that you're lying to yourself, that you're blah 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 blah. Okay, so again, the energetic pattern, the outcome doesn't change. It's just your perception on the matter has not been clear. If you continue this ideal situation that people have fed you for however long, yada yada yada, we will continue to get more scenes of the eps and ditties of the peas, and it's not manifesting out of nowhere. This whole he had a team of people, but like he conceived of this blah 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 all by himself. No, he saw and realized what it was that people were willing to worship, then became said character in the play that we choose to perpetuate, the narrative that we choose to uplift with our battery, our life force energy. This is a continuum. So this disconnect, when you get a severance of anything, sex, race, country, political party, religious, what else? Any division is creating like a separation from the web that is us. So fascia is a new thing kind of coming on board. It needs to get faster though, because like, holy bejesus, this will help you understand the plasma out there is connected to the plasma in here. There's no disconnect. We just have been disillusioned, or put into an illusion, Pisces, Neptune energy of, okay, we are indeed totally separate from one another. There's no connection here. There's no all is one BS crap. I mean, if you look even at the modern day spiritual community. There's two earths. There's going to be two earths. See, the separation is still there. The low vibe versus the high vibe, right? So this is perpetuating a narrative that's keeping this dysfunction alive. And we're just delivering from Evol. Which means our mother. See how this is playing out in society? We shame mothers. We shame children of mothers. It's really peculiar. It's kind of weird. It's like, it's the Extinction Manual is really just, going, I'm just going to remove my undergarments now. And you're just going to have to look at my naked existence, exactly how it is, how we intended it to be, and suck it down like it's some sort of whatever, because here's the truth of it. Like, you can't... As much as you want to look away, there's no denying that at some point, in some sort of capacity, this conception of evil has been delivering itself repeatedly to us, and we're not paying any attention to it. And I get that, like, oh, trauma-rama trains and whatever else. And I'm not here to poo-poo that. I'm not here to say, oh, you just need to get out of trauma, because that's a tough task. That's a tough task in today's society. I'm not oblivious to that. What I am saying, though, is if we maybe, just maybe, perceive a different modality of moving forward. Maybe. And I would love to do a little card reading, but I just put some oily lotion on my hands, so like that's not a good idea. Otherwise I totally would. And I will be back later today because I have meetings and lovely little things to write up and yada yada yada. Okay, so when we are conceiving, when we're conceiving of notions, modalities, what's the other? Pathways forward, lanterns to shine, whatever it is. When we're conceptualizing, when we're conceiving, when we are mixing the delightful pudding of life together, or getting the vehicular ready to meet the road, could we maybe do it from a place other than anything? From a place of I feel like I can't tell you. Like, you have to kind of choose for yourself. Like, I can't. Every time, like, something bubbles up inside of me, I'm like, this is their personal choice. This is your personal path. This is how you are going to decide you want to show up in this multi-dimensional fractal ecosystem. So passing out words and labels feels a little sticky. Yeah, a little bit of honey, but like, you're the little bumblebee that's collected all of your life's whatever it is, and it's not for me to decide how you present that to the world. That's very much an individual process. How, all the little flowers you've visited and collected information until, what keeps your little heart a pumping is completely different than anybody else's. But yet we all have this one thing in common, which is living here, our ecosystem. So if we can find our little fractal, pollinate the shit out of that, from a conceptualized, conceived place of something other than that, I think maybe that will be freedom from the Eight of Swords into the Ace of Cups. It has to be so what fills your cup, though. Can't be anything I give you. No suggestions. I'm just lifting the veil and be like, hey, what's that over there? I can't see it, but you can. I can see mine. But what does yours look like for you? You don't have to answer to me. You just have to answer to yourself. It's gonna light that up like a pagan Christmas tree, unattended. So go explore, go have fun, go, maybe meditate on that today. And if I have time, I will possibly do a read today and start on another journey, because I think that was the taproot of the Eight of Swords and the Ace of Cups. Move that wagon forward. The vessel that is you. Find your tiny little elephant. Okay. Yeah, and it feels like once you kind of find that, like, and you get settled into that fractal ecosystem, you might be able to turn around and help the others. I mean, isn't that kind of the goal? You get to a certain point and you get yourself on some sturdy, stable ground, and then you're like, okay, this is what I found. Anybody else over here in my fractal ecosystem curious? I think that's it. I think that's all. So maybe do some things to release yourself from the belief structure that you came from evil. And that's, that runs through the Abrahamics specifically. That you were born of evil, you're born through evil, you are inherently. So that creates pretty toxic living narratives, maybe? Is that what it's called? Living quarters inside your skin? So releasing that at the moment, and we're headed towards a new moon, which means the universe is taking that energy away. So maybe offer that up while that light is disappearing. Ask the ethos to take that from you, because it definitely could impede your path, for sure. If you have that inherent belief that I'm not going to speak that into existence, but if that is your structure, or it was at one point, maybe really start to look at that. Because we have the propensity, the potential, whatever you want it, to do good things here, to help out, to do, whatever it is that's in our fractal ecosystem. And again, not in a religious sense of morality, in a ecosystem function, not in a punishment reward system. Hey, let's look at the consequences for our choices and our actions, rather than going, well, this is what Scarface Guy Daddy says. So functioning in that natural environment and being your own scientist and saying, okay, so when I do this out in the world, blah 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 happens. When I behave like this out in the world, blah 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 happens. When this blah 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 blah, and just keep doing that Two of Pentacles, tossing it out there and seeing how the ethos is feeding you back on that loop. very much wants to turn this into some sort of... So, I just put lotion eyes. She's sniffing at my hand, going, ew, could you not touch me with that? I won't. It's all good. So, deconstructing from that. That's a process. That we don't have 15 minutes to talk about. But if you can, through the shadow, see that there's like a lovely little something there. Rather than something malevolent and evil. Destruction needs to happen. So those of you who have like destructive energy, it's not evil. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Imagine nothing got destroyed. Imagine there were no forest fires, no natural disasters, no bombing of buildings to reconstruct other buildings. Not in the malevolent way. We're not going there. Okay? Just imagine that for a moment there was absolutely no destruction. Not a once. This is why the truth is nature. It doesn't need your participation. So if you know what a forest fire does for the forest, not against the forest, it's not a malevolent force. It's a rejuvenating force. We look at it through the lens of travesty because we might have homes there. There might be, crops, whatever, yada, yada, yada. We look at it through that lens because the people that have fear in their heart tend to speak the loudest. And gain the most attention because that's triggering your central nervous system. So they're going to automatically want to pay attention to you repeatedly over time. Oh, trauma. And then we get into the survival mode instinct and then we become... Anyway, so let's, for a moment, have a notion in our consciousness, bring it to the consciousness that says, hey, could this in any capacity be a positive function in society rather than a malevolent one? And there's where you come into an acknowledgement that you're not inherently wrong. You're not inherently, delivering from someplace. It's just that you have not experienced, not been instructed. It's not about instruction. It's not a teaching thing. You have not experienced the healthy modality in which your natural force can be utilized for the benefit. Oof. So that's the trip that switches the whole system off, is when you have this thing that society wants to shame or blame or whatever it is, right? When there's shame involved, when there's guilt and shame involved, it's control and manipulation tactic. It's not a, hey, you have this inherent ability about you. You have this, whatever the heck it is. Your natural function in the world is XYZ. And it's not because XYZ is some sort of malevolent function. It's because we do not allow for you to exist in this society under any other pretense or function than this XYZ. We will not allow you to explore those functions so that they could in any way, shape, or form be of service. We are going to make sure that your function is completely and totally made into something that needs to be bludgeoned emotionally, mentally, whatever it is, into something that serves how we want you to serve, not how nature intended you to be here, but in the way that fits into our very teeny tiny itty bitty little societal function. And we will shame you to the bank for it. So when you teach people, you tell people that they are to be ashamed of this, that they're to feel guilty about that. Their modality of existing is irrelevant, inconvenienced, and the problem, the whole fucking problem. When you instruct that to people, they will inherently become that. We don't seem to connect those dots. So if you walk into, okay, let's use the teacher in the classroom. This is going to hurt a little bit. Buckle up, buttercup. It's not malevolent. It's following a pattern of recognition that can be traced. So when a teacher walks into a classroom and she is not fully present or he is not fully present, whatever the hell it is, when that energetic pattern plays out and those children who haven't been quite trained out of their inherent nature at the particular moment in time, they're perceiving that pattern. They instinctively know. This is why we don't like children. They instinctively know that primal sense that is invaluable in the human existence hasn't yet been stifled. So when they witness a pattern of energy that's standing in front of them that has zero of their ish together, they will indeed bring that to the full attention of the person that's claiming authority at the front of the room. You know, it's funny. He doesn't do that to everybody who walks past. Vicious savage. Okay, so. Okay. Spudnik. Are you gonna make it? What was wrong with that person? Were you jealous of his outfit? Oh me, oh my. Okay, so sorry. He's my noisemaker. I'm not training him out of it. I will die on that hill. Okay, so when we have a teacher in front of a classroom full of awake people, because that's what children are. Lady, that is not what we've been taught. They're small little ignorant imps who haven't been blah, 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 blah. Nope, they are more intelligent than the average adult because they haven't been, wiped clean. They haven't been demonized into oblivion. Their spark hasn't been completely put out. This is why I do not care for the systems that have a modality of, oh, hey, because you don't fit in this square, teeny tiny, itty little box, like, you have to kind of like not exist in society until you're ready, until you are able to fit in those teeny tiny boxes. It does a grave disservice to society by shuffling people through a system that is designed to go against the grains of nature and humanity itself. Yes, I just suggested that. And no, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to ask you to sit with it. So when the teacher experiences the pushback, she's seeing it as a threat, or he's seeing it as a threat. Whatever. Okay, so the teacher is seeing it as threat rather than a call to, hey, I'm not actually seeing the situation for what it is, for how they're seeing the situation. But because we are not seeing the situation through the same lens, there has to be a bad party involved. They are children. They just got here. And that's how you're going to respond. You're the adult in the situation, and that's how you're going to respond. Do you see what I mean? And not all teachers do that. There's a lot of amazing, spectacular teachers out there that, like, they get it. They're just like, well, this is how we have to do things. And they will find outlets. I mean, this is why there's so many movies about teachers making a real difference by getting the kids out of the classroom, in nature, and engaging in real life rather than some sort of book screen driven brain killing process that has nothing to do with human advancement and everything to do with human enslavement. Okay, they know. They're not dumb. They haven't been killed yet, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Okay, so they know. We just have to get people in there that are willing to stick their necks on the line to make sure those children do have some sort of advocate for them, because right now they don't. The parents aren't allowed to advocate. The parents are the parents are the demons in this situation. You gave birth to the thing, it's all your fault. Meanwhile, the children are sitting there going, okay, so not only have you just knocked the pillar that gave birth to them, but you're having this conversation pretending they're not in the room. Okay. It's a systematic happening, and it's unfortunate, and it's giving no value to any sort of human life. So you can't be shocked and appalled when the human extinction train rolls through your town and you're like, did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. Yes, you did. You were part of it. You instilled it. You made sure of it by demonizing anything that might hold any keys to a productive and well functioning future. Okay. You instilled that when you signed up to be indoctrinated into any system that would see the destruction of any small community, whether it be a minority or people who can't function normally in society in any way, shape, or form. We have to, we're gonna just make sure they're in their own little blah, 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 and we're gonna demonize the parents, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that, and religion and science are gonna back it up. The medical and psychological community are gonna back it up. The religious community is gonna be like, well, their parents did XYZ that we don't even understand, so that's why they are the way they are. And then this whole cycle is about human extinction, not evolution, not any sort of compassionate, heartfelt anything. We are instructed by systems that, in the words of Robin Williams, are numb from the brain down, and then we can't figure out why society is the way it is. We have this inherent belief that there's a percentage of the people on the planet that are super violent and they just need to get it out of their system. Excuse me? How is what? No. I okay, sure. So the because the system doesn't demand they be that way. No, that would never happen. The energetic environment that they grew up in couldn't have had anything to do with that. Nope. Okay, so we have been under this spell that causes us to believe that our inherent nature is X, Y, and Z, when in actually it's ABC. But the problem is the system who's instructing us how to see, how to experience, what to think, how to feel, or worse yet, don't feel. That's how violence thrives. That's how violence gets born. That's how you have a society that is now drenched in it. You continuously feed it into the system that has complete and utter control over the multidimensional fractal ecosystem. And then create healthy modalities for that to exist in the world. When it goes against human nature, we are coexisting, co-creating creatures. So how violence plays into that was most likely created by warlords who wanted that to be a function in society. It was more than likely an idea thought process that somebody else was that the only reason why there needs to be violence is overpowerment. Overpowerment of what? Of other human beings. When we hunted, we were respectful of the animals. We don't even do that for humans. We're just like, yeah, you know, this book says that these people are less than, and science backs that up. So, whatever. See what I'm saying? Like, it's the system. It's not the nature of the human being. It's the system was created so that way we could have power and control over other people rather than co-creating with them in an ecosystem. So and the teacher is the micro, the war is the macro, right? Because that's a global thing. And not everybody has access to classrooms and teachers. So when we tell ourselves that there's some sort of nature that goes against nature, and it does, the monkeys don't poison their environment. And the only reason why there's a hierarchy of monkey is because they want to ensure that they're the best people or the best genes get whatever. But I would be willing to bet if we took that energy out of the human race, it would probably dissipate from the planet. Just a thought. Just a thought. Keep your flame.